The fight against cashless society cannot be stopped, and there are still many people in this country with common sense who are joining various campaigns to protect cash and fight against government tyranny and centralization. Not just channels like mine, we've been pushing for this and against all these measures for some time now. We also have GB News, who launched a campaign, and that campaign is now extremely successful. Well done to GB News for their Don't Kill Cash campaign. The petition that they have, you can see it on their website if you want to check it out, if you haven't signed it already. This campaign has now exceeded the limit, so MPs in Parliament are now under pressure to do something about it. So initially it said that Britain is fast becoming a cashless society. In the wake of the pandemic, more and more shops, cafes and pubs are choosing to only accept card payments. And with the rise of Apple and Google Pay, vulnerable people who rely on cash are increasingly being left behind by the relentless march of technology. More than 5 million of adults still rely on cash in the UK, and it's used in 6 billion transactions every year. But there are strong vested interests pushing for it to be permanently replaced by debit and credit cards and other electronic payments. These cost you more in the long run and enable third parties to track you and your spending. So I appreciate the wording of this campaign, but it didn't go too far. It didn't go far enough, GB News' campaign. Because what they have to also mention, and what I mention on a regular basis, is they accelerated push for the digital currencies. And this is not like, when we talk about digital currencies, people thought we talk about cryptocurrencies, and that's decentralized. But the digital currencies are a centralized scheme. It's centralized and backed by the Bank of England and all the central banks around the world and the European Union, European Central Bank. And the idea is to make it programmable so that the governments and banks can program your money. So if you, for example, misbehave, they can actually tell you what you can spend your money on, how much of your money you can spend on, and when, especially in time of crises and emergencies, national security concerns. They can control your own money. So that is a big push. But this campaign is still doing really well because they've now exceeded 214,000 signature. Now for 10,000 signatures, the government could respond. For 100,000 signatures, the parliament could be pushed to have a debate on this issue. So they've already reached all those limits. Now they've got a new goal, which is 250,000. Again, that's going to be easily done with the way this campaign has been working. So congrats to everyone who has been pushing for this. But again, this is about the wider scheme. This is not really just about tiny policies, because there's a push from the global consensus. They're the ones who are pushing this global economic consensus around the world. And these ideas coming from Davos and Bilderberg and all these other meetings, they've been going on for years. There's nothing new about it. And we've been talking about it for about 10 years now, about for 8-9 years myself. But we have to be careful because everything's becoming centralized. Your digital identity online, the virtual world, is now completely linked to the physical world. There was a time when the internet was just separate. Your virtual world was completely different to your physical world, but no longer. You have to protect yourself at the same time because it's not really just about the money aspect, it's also about control and your data. That's why I want to give a shout out to our special partners, Atlas VPN, who can protect you. If you use a basic concept of these VPNs, they could actually do that. We have a special summer deal, 85% off, £1.50 a month. Only £1.50 a month. On top of it, you get a 3 months extra as well. The link is in the description. Essentially, what you have is you can easily be a technophobe, and you can have this software on your devices, multiple devices. With one button, you can protect everything. And those who said, "Oh my, this doesn't really help anybody because it doesn't protect your emails and ad block and everything else," but it does. Other VPNs don't have everything, but Atlas VPN does have full email protection as well as ad blocker. And for those who don't know, essentially, for all your devices, unlimited devices, Atlas VPN will essentially hide your location, hide your identity, and you can change your location as well. You can go and pretend to be in America and actually get some access to some good discounts as well. Anyway, check out the link in the description. They have a summer deal, a limited offer, 85% off, £1.50 a month on top of it, 3 months extra. Use the link with my name in the description. Now, I will be talking about all these measures that are now being pushed without any challenge from the mainstream media. The European Union are in crisis. We know that, the Eurozone. So some of the ideas that they have that are also spreading around the world and the Western world, they're not going to be implemented. The 2030 agenda is not going to happen. They're going to be It's going to happen. It's going to create a lot of destruction, but they're not going to succeed. It's not going to work. And then they're going to push it again. They're going to go forward. They're going to say, okay, now we're going to have a new target for 2040, for example. They also have a wider plan for 2050. These ideas were pushed by idiots who went to the United Nations decades ago, coming up with these ideas because they thought, okay, in order to prevent any other world conflicts like what we had in 1914 or 1939, then the best thing to do is to centralize the allies and the Western world, and we could slowly bring in all the others as well, China and everybody else. And then you could create a union, and that's what they did in the continent of Europe with the European Union. And then we could basically have our Star Trek fantasy world, one world government, and that way you're not going to have tribal wars, tribal battles. And that's the best way to control chaos, is to control people and nations. And how many times we've seen these stories in fictional books and fictional movies throughout the 20th century. These were warning signs. People say, it's just a fiction. 1984 is just fiction. It's a novel. Well, it came from somewhere. It came from the human creativity and the human brain, because we knew that this is the ambition of some control freaks around the world throughout history. And now they have the mechanism to do it. They can control your data. They can control your taxes. They can control your spending, your own money. And they can control your breathing. They can control if you're allowed to leave your house or not. We saw that 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So we have to be careful about the rise of tyranny. As I said, at least you can protect your online identity and your data. Make sure to check out the link in the description for Atlas VPN, 85% off. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.